Good afternoon once again, everyone. This is David Cerns from Haley Marketing Group, and welcome to today's Lunch with Haley webinar. Today I'm very pleased to present our guest speaker, Tom Kosnick from Vices Group, and Tom is going to be teaching us all about strategic valuations and the things that you can do to increase the value of your staffing firm. For those of you who know Tom, he's a consultant in the industry who's had a lot of experience working with executives from all size staffing companies. And Tom, I'm going to let you take it away and teach us more about valuations. While Tom's presenting, I will stay on to answer questions, so please feel free to use that question window to ask questions to Tom throughout the presentation, and we'll bring them up as you ask and at the end of the presentation. And so, Tom, you can take it away.
Great, thank you, David, and nice to have everybody on the call here. Just a real quick, can everybody, Dave, you can see the screen and all. I understand I have the control with clicking, but
yep.
does it look things look okay?
It's
there?
Fine if you want to maximize it.
Good,
you can.
Good. Okay. Not sure how to do that, but
right next to that 80% in the bottom right, if you the little thing that looks like a presentation screen.
Oh, there you go.
You can click the just to the left of the number 87. Little right there.
Thank you.
We're in business.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Just a brief introduction on myself. I've been servicing the industry for 16 years. I've been managing I have managed the President's Roundtable for most of that time. We'll bring together presidents, owners, and CEOs of staffing companies, all different sizes and types. And then I also do organizational development work myself and a few other people that work with myself, and growth strategy. So I've had the opportunity to work with some really fantastic staffing companies. It's a great industry. A lot of good things that are happening in the industry. A lot of changes and whatnot. And last year and a half or 2 years or so, the industry has bounced back really nicely from 2009. Many of my clients are actually hitting record numbers. Some of that's spotty depending upon the state and the market and the niche, but for most staffing companies are doing pretty well. And as a result, buyers are looking at buying again. Sellers are looking at selling again. I've got a number of people that are saying to me, "Yeah, I keep getting calls from buyers and salespeople from buyers and whatnot." And so it's a good time to think about, the value of your business and increasing the value of your business. It's always a good thing to be thinking about increasing the value of your business and working on certain things. But now is just as the market has come back, it really is a good time to be doing that. So, about 4 or 5 years ago, I got into doing more M&A work through my clients, basically, either large clients of mine that were looking to buy companies or small to mid-sized companies that were looking to sell. And, that's how I, over the last several years, have become educated with what's going on in the industry and how these companies are valued and what specific variables within companies are of value, specifically a staffing company. So through it's always a prudent thing to be thinking about how to build value in the business. I think many of us have probably heard, always manage your business as if you're going to sell it. And really what that means is manage your business where you're really becoming a desirable acquisition target, and you're doing smart things in terms of management practices and all that good stuff. So with the presentation, what it's really about, you'll learn a little bit about valuations and some of the ways that staffing companies are being valued. But really what the presentation is about is what can you do over the next few years or so to increase the value of your business. And that's what hopefully by the end of the presentation you'll have a short list of some action items that you can do in your business that will increase the value of your business, and hopefully you'll be a little bit more astute on the valuation methods, and then at the end, of course, we'll have time for questions and answers. So, it doesn't always happen this way. What is the one topic that every business owner is interested in? This is actually a true story of a past client of mine who was standing in line at a Starbucks coffee shop, and he started talking to the guy in front of him, who happened to own a small medical staffing business, and the guy who owned the business was really frustrated with it, and the two of them got started, and literally on the back of a paper napkin, they figured out, etched out what they thought the value of this business was, and a week later, my buddy bought the business from this guy. Kind of a moment of weakness. You certainly don't want to do anything like that. But why? It's everybody's interested in the value of their business. I don't know anybody that's not interested. And why are most people not? Because ultimately they've got a financial number in their head. They're building their business, so ultimately they can either pass it on to a family member, or that they can sell it and hit a certain financial number for retirement and whatnot. So, understanding how your business is valued and understanding what adds value is really critical to, your personal long-time financial success. And again, it's my hope that at the end here we can give you a handful of action items to use in your business. So today's agenda, it's really about increasing the value, understanding a little bit more about valuations, increasing the value of your business, and then some general advice that I have seen astute business owners implement to hit the financial goals that they're seeking. So how are staffing firms valued? There's really, in the industry, 90% of the industry, there's lots of different methods, valuation methods, but over 90% of the deals in the staffing industry are either a multiple of EBITDA, earning before interest and taxes, depreciation and amortization, or it is a percentage of your gross profit. And both buyers and sellers will use a certain valuation methodology, either a multiple of EBITDA or a percentage of gross profit, for different reasons. And I'll get into some examples of real live stories of why companies use different different techniques. The valuations are valuations is really there's an art to it. There are two kinds of valuations. Market valuation. These are the guys that are out there selling businesses. We've all heard the market is going to drive the price of the business, and these individuals, and there's a number of guys in the industry that specialize in valuing staffing businesses from a market perspective. They know what the market, they know what's happening in the market. They know what buyers are looking for. They know what buyers are asking for. So that's a market valuation. Then there's these quote unquote like a textbook valuation, and that's more of a let's look at the P&L, let's look at the balance sheet, let's run these numbers through a financial formula and see what we come up with. It's not uncommon that a textbook valuation could come out more or less depending upon what's going on in the market than a market valuation. The other thing about valuations that's really important to know is that they actually go out of date pretty quickly. I kind of learned this back few years back. they go out of date because simply there's a lot of change. There's a lot of change on the balance sheet. There's a lot of staffing companies are very, highly flexible in terms of clients and temporaries and whatnot. So, these valuations, I mean, you can get a valuation done, and it may take 6 months to get a deal done. That valuation, within 6 months, most likely, is going to be out of date, and you'll need to have another one done. But doesn't mean that it's far off. But there is an art to it. It's a very technical art, and your goal is managing and building a business, is not necessarily become a valuation expert or learn how to value. Just understanding how these things are how these businesses are valued, and then understanding how to build the value in the business so that you can get a good hit your financial goals. So let's look at the multiple of EBITDA method. There's and again, there's a lot of idiosyncrasies. This is more of a general, a broad brush of how to value these businesses. But what happens now in a multiple of EBITDA is that a buying firm would take a trailing 12 months of the financial statement. They would look at the financial statement and the balance sheet, and so they take the trailing 12 months. Way back when they used to go back 3 years. Rare if that happens now. I mean, if it's a real large staffing company, they may go back 3 years, but for the most part, most buyers are looking for just a trailing 12 months. And again, it really depends on the size of the business. Then what they do is they look at add backs. What can they add back into the P&L that the owner of the business is taking out? And then what they'll do is assign a multiple based on variables. And we'll talk a little bit about some of these. So the add backs, what are they looking for? Or I'm sorry, on a P&L statement, what are they looking for? They're looking for the gross margin percentages. Are they healthy? Are they mid-range? Are they weak? They're looking for, is the gross profit going up? Is the gross profit going down? Are there any excessive line items? Are rents out of whack with industry standards, or are staffing, sales compensation, recruiting compensation, are they out of whack with industry standards? So that's what buyers would certainly be looking for. And so then obviously one of the practices with managing the business is making sure that a lot of these expenses are in line with industry standards. That will behoove you as a seller and having adding value to your business. So when they look at a trailing 12 months, these are the big things they immediately look at: gross profit, big line items, expenses, what kind of net income is the business dropping to the bottom line, any kind of excessive owner's compensation, whatnot that they might. In terms of add backs, in terms of add backs, they're considering these things. Are there boats in the business? Is there a second house in the business? Are there owner's compensation that might be greater than if a buyer bought a business and hired a manager for that business? These are all things that a seller could add back into the P&L and beef up the EBITDA number on that business. What's not considered in the add backs would be any savings due to a merger. So if there's two offices in the same marketplace and there's going to be some additional monies dropped to the bottom line because there's a consolidation of staff, consolidation of offices, a buyer does not pay for, a buyer won't pay for that. That doesn't go into an added value into the P&L. It's just these things that they can take out. So in a multiple of EBITDA, they look at the financial statement. They look at these different add backs that they can add into the P&L, and then they'll look at a series of variables within the business, and these variables will be client concentration, gross profits, client contracts, the temporaries on assignment, and whatnot. And there's a whole methodology and science to this that in terms of 2 times EBITDA, 3 times EBITDA, 6 times EBITDA, that they'll assign. These variables on what increases the multiple of EBITDA. These are the things in the second half of my presentation that we're going to be talking about in terms of adding value to your business. Now, for some reason, my slide is not advancing. And David, maybe you can take it back over and
try just hitting page down, Tom, and maybe it's frozen. If not, I'll take it back over and click through. While you're doing this, we had a question come in. When figuring out the valuations, how do you allow for permanent placement versus temp?
Yeah, typically buyers, they'll just take out the direct hire. They'll take out they'll discount the direct hire out of the P&L. And sometimes what they'll do, depending upon the nature of the business, for example, if it's a business, let's say it's a finance and accounting business, and historically the seller can show that like clockwork every year this business will do $1 million of direct hire revenue, and you've got a history of that over the course of 3 years, 4 years. Then a seller can make the case to say, hey, look, you've got to add this. You've got to add this into the equation. And even when they add it into the equation, the most I've ever seen a buyer pay for direct hire net income is like 1 times. So 1 times EBITDA. Very, very difficult to sell a direct hire staffing company to an outside buyer. David, you got the controls?
I'm all set. So just I'll give me a heads up if I miss any of the transitions.
Okay. So let's move on to the percentage of gross profit. So very similar in the percentage of gross profit. A buyer will take a look at the trailing 12 months. They'll add the add backs into the business as we talked about before, and then they'll look at a list of these variables, and again they'll assign a percentage of the gross profit. The percentage of gross profit may be 50%, it may be 75%, it may be 100% of the gross profit. Now, this is really important. What I'm going to tell you. I don't care what size your business is. You have, I helped clients merge their businesses that were little tiny $2.5, $3 million one office operation. There is value in your business. This is the thing. This is the thing to really. There is value in your business. I mean, the buyers will come by and say, "Oh my, there's no value. You're one office. You got this, you've got that," and but there is value. For example, what happens if you? And this is actually these are 2 true examples that I've seen. IT staffing business. This company was about $8 million in revenue. That the guy that was running it was 30-something years old, young, a lot of energy, working 60, 65 hours a week. He was dumping a lot of money back into the business for growth. But listen, he was factoring receivables. Not a good thing. That takes a lot of money out of the bottom line. He was investing in people, more money out of the bottom line. Spent $500,000 on a new office, more money out of the bottom line. He didn't take out a capital. So hey, now does that business have value? He had a great list of clients. He didn't have any. In fact, he had no client concentration, but he was showing below, far below industry standards for a net income number. Well, here's a guy that was a great sales guy, built, a nice IT staffing business. Maybe not the best business guy. Was there value in that business? Absolutely. You're not going to take that business and do a multiple of EBITDA on that business. No, you would do a multiple of, or you would do a percent of the gross profit. That's a great example. This is another true story here. One office was a special niche, been around for 20 plus years. I run into these businesses. They're special niche businesses. They've got great name recognition. They've got a great reputation in the market, but it's a one-office operation, high risk for a buyer. Great brand. The owner the owner's been involved in the business for years and years and years. Does that business have value? Absolutely. The owner, a real good operator, but maybe not, a great business person that's going to grow the business to 15, 20, 25 million in revenue. So for somebody to come in and take a look at that business and say, well, this business is not really worth much. Hey, lot of value in there, in the branding, the list of clients, the type of business, the margins. So these are again, two true examples of of companies that had value in their business. So David, just flip the next slide there for me. So let's move on to the let's flip one more there to the part 2, how to build value in your business. So I want to make you, I hope that, I give you some ideas to make you experts in value creation. So think about your company. I work with my clients in this way. Think about your company as an asset, just like all your other assets. And I know we're all emotionally attached to our businesses, and we had them from when they were babies, and we grew them, and all that stuff. And sometimes we make good decisions in our businesses. Sometimes we make not so good decisions in our business. That's okay. That's business and whatnot. But look at your business as if it's an asset, just like all your other assets. And at some point, think you might want to sell this asset, and just like a lot of your other assets. So running your company as if you want to sell it. It's a mindset about how you look at the P&L, how you manage people, how you hire people, how you get clients, how you fire some clients in order to beef up the bottom line. There's a lot of things that a lot of things that you can quote unquote work on in your business to make it a desirable acquisition for a potential buyer. Go ahead and flip the slide, Dave. Number one thing that gross margins, anything that you can do to get healthy gross margins, or if not healthy gross margins, get to the top of the range of what's out there in the industry. You become so much more of a desirable, it adds so much more value to your business by being on the top. I see tons of light industrial staffing businesses that gross margins 13%, 14%, 15%. Man, that's tough to sell. I mean, it's just you're at the mercy of the buyers when